Hello students, how are you? I hope you are all fine. Children, do you remember what we learned in the last lesson? So we learned about the fungi. That is what? That economic importance and classification of fungi. We finished, and even harmful effect also we learned in last class. Now we are going to learn about the detailing about the uses of fungi, especially the two that is what mutually understanding species of fungi with algae and plants. Okay, so are you ready, children? So first one we are going to learn about is mycorrhizae. What it is said to be? Mycorrhizae. Do you know what is mean by mycorrhizae? That is mutualistic association between vascular plant and fungi. So this is called as mycorrhizae. What it is said to be? The mutual understanding or symbiotic association between the vascular plant. What is meant by vascular? Xylem, the plant which will be having inside, that it is water. So plant which will be having the vascular tissue inside. So what is vascular tissue by means of? Vascular plants. So these vascular plants will be having xylem and phloem. Understood, children? So the plant which will be having xylem and phloem for absorption of food and for transport food and for absorption of water and minerals, they are called as vascular plants. So are maximum angiosperms, and these plants are associated with the fungi. So associated with fungi is called as what? Mycorrhizae. What it is said to be? Mycorrhizae. So this mycorrhizae, so it will grow in the root. Where it grows? It grows or it associated with the root of this vascular plant. Root of this vascular plant. So this is the root. So what happens? This mycorrhizae, this fungi will start to grow and it forms the hyphae to the full length, for the maximum, that is vast area. So it spread over vast area. So this is fungi. So this fungi will grow on the root of this vascular plant, and so maximum it spread, there is large area. Large area, that is most surface. Most surface. So most surface of the soil is occupied by the fungi. Then, so this fungi will grow with a root and it forms, that is what, there is an association. How it get association? What is association? What is the symbiotic relationship between the fungi and this plant? So this plant is providing, so what the plant is, the function of plant? Doing the photosynthesis. So because of photosynthesis is prepare food. So this food, nutrition is provided to the fungi. Okay. So from the plant the fungi is getting, so this is fungi, the fungi is getting nutrition, that is food. So from the plant the fungi, so this is the fungi, so this fungi is getting nutrition from the plant. So some are similarly, so simultaneously this fungi will provide, so this fungi is providing, so what it provides? It provides minerals and water. What it provides? Minerals and water. So it provides minerals and water. So what minerals it provides? It provides potassium, magnesium, nitrogens. So maximum minerals are provided by the, so this fungi will be absorbing from the atmosphere and it absorbs from the surface of the soil, and this minerals and water and which is absorbed by the fungi is provided to the plant where it grows. Okay. So this is the symbiotic association between the fungi and the what it is? Fungi and the this vascular plants. So the absorption surface will be increased and it maximum absorb from the vast area. So if the water is not available here, if the water is not available here, this hyphae will be elongated to the next vast area where the water is available. It grow and get the water and directly provide the water and minerals to the that is the vascular plant. So this is the association between the fungi and the plant. Fungi and the vascular plant. Children, up to clear? So what is mycorrhizae? Mycorrhizae is nothing but a mutualistic association between the vascular plants and fungi. Vascular plants and fungi. Do you know what is the types of, based on the attachment, there are 3 types of mycorrhizae is there. So let's see the types. Ecto, mycorrhizae, endo, mycorrhizae and endo, mycorrhizae. So by the name itself you can easily understand what is the 3 types. So these are the 3 types of fungi. So that is mycorrhizae. Types of okay. So 3 types of mycorrhizae. One is ectomycorrhizae, endomycorrhizae, and endo-ectomycorrhizae. Endecto or endectomycorrhizae. Okay, first one, see the first one, ectomycorrhizae. So ectomycorrhizae means there is no attachment between the root and the fungi. There is no attachment between the root and fungi. There is a gap or the space is maintained. So through the space, the nutrition will be the water absorbed by the mycorrhizae. That is the fungi is provided. It releases in the space. So from the space, the plant is absorbing the nutrition. So there is a space between the what it is this fungi and the root, the plant root. Okay. So if there is no it will not get enter into the root. So what it is mycorrhizae means this is root. If you suppose this is root, the fungi will grow inside the mycelium or hyphae will grow inside the root. Grow inside the root. That is called as what? Endomycorrhizae. Ectomycorrhizae means the root and there is a gap is maintained between the hyphae of the fungi. So this gap will be maintained. So this will be provided nutrition in this gap and from the gap the root will be absorbing the water. Similarly, the nutrition from the plant is provided in the space and from the space it will be taken by the root of that is hyphae of the fungi. So this is the first one, that is primary one, the ectoparasite. So it is present outside, the fungi is present outside the root of the plant. And endoparasite means it is penetrate inside the root of the plant is called as endomycorrhizae. And endectoparasite means both some of the part of the hyphae is that is focusing outside or present outside and some of the part will be penetrate inside the root of the plant. So that is called as endecto. What it is said to be? Endectomycorrhizae. Endectomycorrhizae. So there are 3 types of mycorrhizae based on their occurrence or based on the presence or based on their mode of that is presence in the root or distance between the root and fungi. So this is the types. Children, up to this clear? Especially this ectomycorrhizae, for example, ostrich plants, and endo will be pinus. So pinus trees are example for the endomycorrhizae, and this orchids are example for the ectomycorrhizae. Children, up to this clear? So up to what we learned, up to the types of mycorrhizae. So what is mycorrhizae? That mutualist between the fungi and the plant is called as mycorrhizae. Next one, we are going to learn about the lichens. lichens can be called as lichens or lichens. So we can pronounce lichens or lichens. So next we are going to learn about lichens. So this lichens again mutualistic between algae and fungi. So there is a mutualist between algae and fungi is called as what? Lichens. Algae and fungi is called as lichen. So how it do? Similarly as in the case of mycorrhizae, this also, so the fungi will live inside the, lichens will live inside the mycorrhizae, especially that algae or cyanobacteria. So this is hyphae of the fungi. Suppose this is a hyphae of the fungi. These cyanobacteria which live inside the fungi, So what is the benefit of this fungi? This fungi, algae, cyanobacteria. This is cyanobacteria. So this cyanobacteria live in the hyphae of the fungi. So this fungi is hyphae providing the nourishment, or it provides the moisture by absorbing water and minerals, from the surrounding. And this cyanobacteria preparing food from the photosynthesis, so it will be providing the food for the fungi. And this cyanobacteria is also protected from the sunlight or UV rays or rays of sun. Heavy sun rays, or because it is minute small species, it is affected or it is getting dried because of heavy sunlight or sun rays. So this hyphae providing the moisture and protect the cyanobacteria from the heavy rays of the sun. Okay, so like that, so the algae or cyanobacteria mutualist between the fungi, to mutualism with fungi. So it is called as this lichens. So lichen is nothing but algae plus fungi. So here the algae will be providing photosynthesis. Algae do the photosynthesis, and it is said to be photobiont. What it is said to be? Phytobiont or photobiont. Or this algae is said to be phytobiont or photobiont. Algae is said to be phytobiont or photobiont. And so this is a that is a algae partner of, that is a fungi partner of algae. Algae is called as phycobiont or photobiont. As usual, this mycobiont is a fungi partner. Fungi is associated with algae, is called as mycobiont. Understood, children? So it's a fungi partner, and first one is the algae partner of the fungi. Next we are going to learn about the classification of fungi. We are going to learn about the classification of lichens. So based on the habitat, what it is? Based on the habitat. So what is the habitat? The place where it lives is called as habitat. What it is said to be? Place where it lives is called as habitat. So it has, we can find it maybe grow on the rocks or bog and wood or barren or ocean. All the area we can find the lichens. Okay, so first one says Corticolus. What it is said to be? Corticolus. So this type of lichen is found in the barks of tree. What is barks? The shoot, that outermost part of the trees or vascular plants. That bark is providing space for the growth of this lichens. Okay. So lichen is, don't get confused, lichen is not fungi. It is a association between the fungi with algae. Both will grow on one to each other. That is, algae will grow on the fungi. Okay. So that is called as, if it is grow on the bark of the trees, then it is called as Corticolus. What it is said to be? Corticolus. Or if it is grow on the rocks, so on the rocks it is called as Saxicolus. What it is said to be? It is Saxicolus. Or it is grow on the wood of some other trees, then it is called as Lignicolus. What it is said to be? Lignicolus. And if maximum we can find this even in the marine as well as in the fresh water. So even fresh water and marine water also we can find this lichens. Okay, so based on the habitat, based on the place where it dwells, it is 4 types. What are the, it is divided into these types. One is Corticocolous, which live on the box of trees, and Saxicolous, which live on the rocks. The outer surface will be turned into hard and like a if you look like a minerals are deposited outside. So that is called as Saxicolous, and some is called as Lignicolous, and some example on the wood and which is marine or freshwater habitat lichens. And so classification is based on the appearance. Children, up to this clear? So it's very important chapter, this mycorrhizae, and this lichen is maximum asking question. So first one is leprose. What it is? Leprose type of lichens. So these look like layers arranged one after others. So they are the layers arranged one after others. If the layers are arranged one after other, so if it is one by one, arranged one by one like this, so in order, so it is called as leprose. What is it to be? Leprose. So this is the classification of lichen based on the appearance. If it is one after other, like one by one, if it is arranged, then it is called as leprose. Our next one is crustose. Crustose means it will be like a crush. The structure is like a crush. What is crush? If you crush a paper, what you will be getting? So if the lichens are in crushed form, then it is called as crushed form. Then it is said to be if it is in a crushed form, it is said to be crustose. And next one, if it is fructose, if it is fruit body. So if it is having a fruit-like body, so then it is called as fructose. What is it? Fructose. Okay, so these are the varieties of lichens based on the appearance. Children, up to this clear? And next one, homoeomorous and heteromerous. Homoeomorous and heteromerous. So based on this is also based on the appearance. Based on the appearance of fungi, it is said to be homoeomorous, and the another one is said to be heteromerous. So homoeomorous means, so we cannot differentiate. Can't differentiate the algae and fungi. So we can't differentiate the algae from fungi. Is called as what? Homoeomorous. What it is said to be? Homoeomorous. So we cannot differentiate the algae from fungi is called as homoeomorous, and easily we can distinguish. So easily distinguish algae from fungi. So easily if it is distinguished between the algae and fungi. So by seeing itself we can easily distinguish this is algae and this is fungi. If it is like that, then it is said to be heteromerous. So up to this is very important 2-mark question. And already I said the mycorrhizae and lichen is, especially when compared with the lichen, the mycorrhizae is very important questions. They may be asking in 3-mark, 2-mark or even 5-mark also they will be asking. Okay. So this homoeomorous and heteromerous is 2-mark question. So homoeomorous means we cannot differentiate the algae from fungi in the lichen, and this heteromerous, the lichen will be easily distinguished algae from fungi. So this is about the based on the classification of lichens based on the appearance. And next one we are going to learn about the uses of this lichens. So once again we will recall the lichens. Lichen is nothing but mutualistic understanding between the algae with the fungi is called as lichens. In that algae partner is said to be photobiont or phytobiont because of preparing photosynthesis from sunlight, and mycobiont is a fungi, that is algae partner of fungi. Okay, and next one classification is if it is grow on bark it is said to be Carticolus, if it is grow on rock it is said to be Saxicolus, and if it is grow on the woods of trees it is said to be Lignicolus. Or maximum we can find even in the marine and freshwater habitat. And based on the appearance, by looking itself, it is said to be, if it is overlapping one from one by other, it is called as leprous. Or if it is arranged as a crushed manner, it is said to be crustose. Or if it is in the form of fruit body like mushrooms, or it is said to be fructose. Next one, based on the distinguishable. If it is not distinguishable, if it is not mingled, we cannot separate algae from fungi, then it is called as homoemerous. Easily if it is separable, then it is said to be homoemerous. Next we are going to learn about the uses of this lichens. Uses of this lichen. So, uses of lichens. So, first one, it is used preparing acids. So, preparing or produce acids. What are the acids it prepares? Organic acid, especially oxalic acid. So, this oxalic acid is produced by the lichens. And where it is where we can find this oxalic acid? So especially the types of that Saxicolus lichens. What is Saxicolus lichen? Which live on the rocks. So this lichens grow on the rocks and it produce oxalic acid. This oxalic acid will lead to weathering of rock. So what is the result of weathering of rock? What it is? It loses the rocks, it roots the bonds of the rock and it releases the mineralized soil or sand. So rock is changed into soil by means of the weathering process. How the weathering processes take place? Because of the oxalic acid, that is acid synthesized by the fungi which is grow on the rock. That is lichens, not fungi. With the lichens, it grow on the rock, it produces oxalic acid which rupture the rocks and releases, that causes the weathering of rock and releases the mineralized soil. What it is? Mineralized soil. This is the first use of this lichen. And second one is usnic acid. What it is? Usnic acid. Second one, usnic acid. So this usnic acid is nothing but it is it is produced by certain lichens. Later on, it is found that it has some antibiotic property. So later they found this usnic acid contain antibiotic properties. So it provides antibiotic properties. Hence, this usnic acid is which is prepared or which is produced by the lichens are used for medicine. Other is this usnic acid antibiotic preparation. Okay. And third one, this lichens is act as an indicator. That is biological indicator. What it is biological indicator? Suppose if anything, if you want to, for example, bioindicator, in case it is used to find the pollution. What is pollution? So air pollution, especially which area is contaminated by sulfur dioxide. Which area is contaminated by sulfur dioxide. Third one is indicator, especially air pollution. So SO2, sulfur dioxide. So if the sulfur dioxide more in the atmosphere, lichens will not grow. So the growth, that accumulation of sulfur dioxide will stop or destroy the growth of the lichens. So because of the presence of sulfur dioxide in such area, the lichen will not grow. The population of lichen is start to reduce in number. Suppose if the lichen population is reduced in particular area, So what we already taken, they will be take a sensor. So if particular, so maximum scientists or biologists will be doing the sensor, and they found wherever the lichens are available. So after certain periods, if they if they found the lichens was not there, then they will check the air condition. If the air is contaminated with certain sulfur dioxide like other carbon monoxide like air pollution, so it is only the reason of the reduction of the population of lichens. By finding the population reduction, we can easily find that air is polluted or not. Especially lichens will not grow in the presence of sulfur dioxide. So this hence it acts as a biological inducer, biological indicator. Okay. And next one is it is used as a litmus paper preparation. Have you doing research in the chemistry lab? Do you use litmus paper? What is litmus paper? Blue litmus paper or red litmus paper. So what it is used? So these papers are used to find whether the water is acid or base. So to find the acid, to indicate it is an acid or here in case of litmus paper, it is used to indicate whether it is acid or it is base. Okay. So for that purpose, this act as a that what litmus paper is used. Up to this clear, children? So what is the use of this lichens? So it is used to do weathering soil by means of the production of oxalic acid and by producing the usnic acid, and it will be act as an antibiotic and even medicine preparation it is useful, and it act as an indicator, that biological pollution indicator, for indicating pollution we can use this lichens, and it is used as to prepare the litmus paper to identify the indicate the acid or base. Children, up to this clear? Up to this clear? So we learned that uses of mycorrhizae. Uses of mycorrhizae. So let's learn the uses of mycorrhizae. And one thing I want to say, this mycorrhizae, so we learned the three types of mycorrhizae. What are they? Ectomycorrhizae, endomycorrhizae and endectomycorrhizae. So if it is ectomycorrhizae, so the finished lichens. Now we are going to see the uses of mycorrhizae, and certain points we going to see in this mycorrhizae. So this ectomycorrhizae, so this will be growing outside the vascular plant root. So if it is grow outside the vascular, so this will be forming a cyst-like formation, that is called as mantle. Hard surface will be formed outside the fungi. So that is called as mantle formation will be there in the ectomycorrhizal fungi. And in endomycorrhizae doesn't have the mantle. So mantle is nothing but have you saw that hard calcium coat? So it is said to be mantle. So if the fungi is growing outside the root, it will be having the mantle formation, that hard surface. So if it is in the endomycorrhizae, this mantle is absent. So let's learn the uses of mycorrhizae. Uses of mycorrhizae. So let's learn the uses of mycorrhizae. So first one, so if the mycorrhizae grow on the vascular plant, especially monotropha is a saprophytic angiosperm. Monotropha is a uses of mycorrhizae. So monotropha is the saprophytic angiosperm. So this is monotropha as a saprophytic angiosperm. Suppose if it is allow the space for mycorrhizae, this monotropha can derive the nutrition directly. So it can derive the nutrition because of the mycorrhizae. So this mycorrhizae help the monotropha saprophytic plant to absorb the nutrition because it having the capacity hyphae. This hyphae make the monotropha to absorb the nutrition from the outside. And second one, already I said, this mycorrhizae is useful for the absorption. What it absorbs? Water and minerals. So this water and minerals are absorbed from the soil. So and by this process, it providing water and minerals for the plant. Okay, associated plant. And third one, it is used to it provide the drought resistant. What is drought resistant? saprophytic or like this. So drought condition is prevented because this fungi will providing water, moisture, it increases the moisture, thereby it prevent the drought condition, and because of the process it will what happens, it will save the plant which grow in the drought condition. So if the mycorrhizae grow in the drought area, it provide the that is moisture for the plant, thereby it prevent or protect the giving the drought resistant for particular plant. Okay, and last one is the protect from the from the pathogen. From pathogen. So maximum of this mycorrhizal plants will not affected by the pathogens. What is pathogens? Germs which is present outside and it affect the plant zone. So if the plant has adapted the mycorrhizal that is mode of that association, maximum it is not affected by some any other that is what pathogenical agents. So understood children? So first one, this mycorrhizae, it provide the it makes the plant to derive more nutrition from the especially monotropha, saprophytic angiosperm will derive more nutrition directly because of the mycorrhizae. And second one, it leads to absorb more minerals and water. And third one, it because of its property, it is drought, act as a drought resistant. And last one, if the mycorrhizae is growing, it will prevent the pathogen caused by other germs. Children, so up to what we learned detailedly about the mycorrhizae and lichens. So that is what focus and learn and write and see the names and what it is the examples. So it will very important chapter what we learned. So hereby I say that we are going to complete the first lesson of chapter 1 biobotany. Children, I hope you all understood. Thank you.